Hi, I'm Tony Locantro. I'm an investment manager at Alto Capital, and I'm joined today by Alfie Germano, CEO of Nanollose.
Thanks, Tony.
Now, I believe your company, Nanollose, is a unique company on the ASX where you're aiming to create textiles from microbial cellulose. And viewers would be interested to know that it takes 8,000 litres of water to produce one pair of jeans. Now, Alfie, tell me why Nanollose can make a difference.
Nanollose can make a difference because we bypass a lot of industrial processes that currently exist today. In our space particularly, we cut down trees, and when we cut down those trees, then we process those trees to extract this thing called cellulose. Then that cellulose is regenerated into making fibres. Where Nanollose is extremely unique is that we don't cut down any trees, but rather we go after waste streams that contain certain sugars that microbes called Acetobacter turn into microbial cellulose. This microbial cellulose is 100% pure. Now the difference between us and them is that when we cut down the trees, we have to still extract the cellulose through chemical processes called crafting. That's a whole different step. Nanollose bypassed that completely. So not just as a cost bypass, but to think about the environmental differences between us and them. We're cleaning waste and we're not cutting down trees and we're not using chemical processes. So right now we have a raw material that no one's ever unlocked, and that's where a part of our IP is focused on taking that raw material, which is microbial cellulose, and then go and converting it into fibre. Now where we are unique is that no one's ever done it on the raw material that we're talking about. The industry that we're talking about does exist, which is a strategic advantage for us, because when we're talking to industrial partners or super users, they don't have to spend any or very little money to retrofit what they're currently doing. So in the case of a fibre maker that's taking wood chips and making fibres, we can take microbial chips and go straight into making fibres, and he or she doesn't have to do anything with regards to infrastructure changes in his processes.
With your extensive experience in the textile industry, what has been the reaction to the end product?
The reaction's been extremely positive, Tony. A lot of people, either manufacturers or brands, are seeking greener alternatives. They get pressure from their customers, and overall the textile industry gets a lot of heat because it's the second most polluting industry in the world. So coming to the textile industry, or the networks that I work with or have worked with before, they're extremely open to, and extremely not just open but also interested in leaning in as quickly as possible, because they want to stop doing something and start doing something else. And what they want to start doing is doing what's better, which is making things better. And it's not just us, it's a lot of people in our space. For example, providing alternatives to cotton, alternatives to polyester, and so on and so on. So that there's a whole zeitgeist of change going on at the moment in our industry, that the big brands and the big retailers know what the ecological problems that they are facing and the challenges that they're facing, and they're wanting to be on the front foot of that. So therefore, companies like ours are getting more interest on what are you able to do. And like I mentioned before, I think that we tick several boxes in Nanollose. We're able to go after waste streams and mitigate waste streams, completely bypass the cutting or felling of trees, and completely bypass the whole chemical process of extracting the actual foundational raw material that we need to regenerate a fibre, by just taking waste, making nature help us with the new raw material, and then just using an infrastructure, reducing that footprint too. So by and large, all the brands and all the textile manufacturers that I've worked with are very, very keen to see this progress, and I do believe at some point of time in the near future that when we are building a scale and they're starting to see the grassroots of scales growing, that we will have people leaning in to help us accelerate that.
So the term disruptive is overused pretty much. So I see Nanollose as a disruptive company in the textile industry. So this product, if you can develop it on a mass scale, is revolutionary. Now the issue we have is that you're competing for investment dollars amongst small cap players. We've had a bubble in battery metals, crypto, milk powder. Now Nanollose listed with a bit of a bang, and you traded up to 38 cents, and the stock's now trading at 12. Now what milestones are ahead for Nanollose to start to climb up from 12 cents?
Okay, well there's 3 milestones. Like any industry in commodity space, we have a primary, a secondary and a tertiary. In the primary part of what we're doing, the microbial cellulose that we're going after is an infrastructural go-get. So firstly, we're going to ring fence a microbial feedstock in that space. It kind of exists today in the food industries, and we're working with those food industries to augment some of what they're doing, which is to say, take their waste and convert it into microbial cellulose. And we believe that there is a free carry opportunity there of taking a revenue from a free carry model from what we best practices from the mining industry of taking that microbial cellulose and earning something from there. There's also a license opportunity in the secondary part of what we do, which is working with the fibre makers that will take our technology and synthesis and apply it into their systems. And the thing that I get very, very excited about, I believe that there is also a large opportunity in the super user, the tertiary part of what we do, which is working with the big brands, the super makers, the manufacturers, and also the retailers that want a better raw material, sustainable alternative to what they currently have, and are prepared to lean in. So in the next 2 to 4 months, our biggest, the 3 biggest pillars is 1, ring fence and make revenues from our stock, from our raw materials rather. Number 2 is license a super user industrial partner that will take our raw material and convert that into fibre, and he or she will probably have exclusivity on that because we are scaling. And number 3, working with a super user brand or retailer that will uptake that and help us with collaborative co-branding and trademarking opportunities of being the only people that we call that have our yarn. And by the way, Tony, we have trademarked our yarn, which is called nullable fibre. And if I can take this opportunity just to put in perspective, we've taken waste, we've converted it into a fibre, or we've industrially spun it into a yarn, and I'm happy to show you that we've actually made a fabric. So this is not all speculative, this is physical. And in a world of textiles where I come from, tactility is what sells dreams. Here we are with an actual fabric that we've made in the past 11 months, and this is our first generation, and we're going to refine this and progress this further in the next 2 to 4 months.
So definitely it's a case of patient capital, which is not around at the moment, but I guess here lies the opportunity for those to maybe buy the stock around 12 cents and wait for these developments. I guess Nanollose is a company that's not going to make too many announcements because you're doing a lot of work behind the scenes, but there's obviously growth opportunities with Nanollose, no pun intended. Thanks a lot, Alfie.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks for the opportunity.
Pleasure.